Welcome, everyone, to City Chat with City Magazine. I'm Kylie Harmon, General Manager of City Magazine, and today we are visiting with Kinley Slauter.
Hi, Carly. Hello.
Wave to the camera. Hey, yeah, it's a TV show. Hey! He is the manager for the Amphitheater that is out at Medora.
Yep. Absolutely.
Very exciting.
Exactly. Good time of year for us, too. We're in the middle of a fun summer, so.
Okay, so how has the summer been going for you guys thus far?
Very well. You know, we'd started off prior to opening the season with a little bit of flooding trouble, like so many people.
Yeah, like across the whole state of North Dakota, it seems.
Basically. But we did get open on time, and we've been having a great summer in Medora, so we, like I say, we're in the middle of the fun part of the year for us.
Now, how long have you been out in Medora?
I have been in Medora this is my 15th summer, so
Wow.
in different capacities, of course, but one of the things about Medora is that over a number of years you get to do lots of different jobs. So,
and now, how long have you been the manager for the Amphitheater?
I've managed the theater since 2003.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the history of the Medora musical. When did it start? How did it get its beginnings?
Well, the kind of talk about that generally in two different ways. The Amphitheater was built in 1958. The people around Medora were looking for a way to celebrate Roosevelt's 100th birthday.
Okay.
So in 1958, they opened the show, and at first it was planned to be a 4-day show about Theodore Roosevelt and his time in North Dakota. Wound up lasting 2 months. They opened July 1st and ran through Labor Day of that year.
Wow, so they were planning to only just run a couple of days.
Yep.
This show.
Yep, just the 4th of July weekend that first season, but as plans came together, they realized, well, we might as well run it for two months. And one of their goals was to get people to come to the area and to check out the new national park at that time. The park was formed in 1947, so they were looking to draw people to the national park. So that show, which was called Old Four Eyes, ran for about 7 seasons. And along came Harold Schaefer during that time and joined the board that helped produce that original show. And after 7 seasons, kind of wasn't working as well because they did the same show year after year.
Oh, they didn't change it up at all.
Exactly, right. It was, the same show each season, maybe with a different cast, but largely the same thing. So Harold, being the marketing guy that he was, knew that in order for it to be really successful, you'd have to change the show from one year to the next. Which is something we've done, of course, ever since. But in 1965, then, Harold purchased the theater from the organization that ran that Theodore Roosevelt play. And got the Medora musical started.
So at the time, it was what was the Amphitheater? It's so hard to imagine because if you've been out there recently,
exactly,
it's been a gorgeous structure.
Yep, yeah, that. Younger folks who visit the theater have a hard time imagining. Older audience members, of course, remember the dirt paths and the wooden benches and rushing in earlier in the afternoon to get a front row seat before we replaced the theater, which was in 1992. Okay.
So how did that come about? I mean, what made you guys decide, we need to do something different here?
Well, shortly after the Theodore Roosevelt Medora Foundation was formed, which this season marks our 25th anniversary of that organization.
And congratulations.
Yeah, we've been having fun celebrating that as well. Always something to celebrate in Medora, but shortly after that was formed, it became obvious that in order for the show to continue to be successful, that a new theater was needed, meaning that, handicap accessibility was becoming more of an issue, and just generally a dirt hillside in the Badlands doesn't stay together very well through a summer.
Probably not, I guess. Yeah, you need some sort of better structure.
Exactly. So the theater was, the fundraising was started and design work. And like I said, in 1992, the new rebuilt theater opened.
So how many people can that new theater hold? How many people come to the Medora musical in a given summer?
Well, we seat 2,852 in the Amphitheater. Of course, it's not full every night. It's maybe larger than what's needed on an average basis, but one of the important things for our nonprofit organization is to be able to take care of people who come to Medora. So, we don't want to necessarily fill up and run out of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
in a given summer, we'll have about 100,000 people see the Medora musical.
Wow. That's just so many people. And I'm sure that, like, year after year, it's new people, and it's the old people bringing their grandkids,
Yep.
and the grandkids growing up and now bringing their grandkids.
Exactly. For so many, it's a summer tradition, which is just fun to see that happen for folks who are coming to the show. Just the other night, a couple celebrated their anniversary out in Medora. I think their 51st anniversary, and they had been to the show 46 times or something like that, so almost every year.
Oh, wow. So it's become a staple in people's lives, basically.
Yeah, a summer staple for them. Absolutely.
Very cool. So what would you say is new this year for the Medora musical?
Well, one of the things about the show is as I said, Kylie, it's important to have different things each year, but the show does stick to a similar theme. It's a family show that honors patriotism and family values, and pays tribute to Theodore Roosevelt, and particularly his time in the Badlands in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what else? Is there anything new this year?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. Over the past year and a half, we have been working through our first ever songwriting contest. We had over 150 submissions to that.
Oh, wow.
Last January, the winner was named, and in the production of the show this past spring, we arranged and rehearsed and have implemented that new song into the show. And I got to tell you, it's very good. A lot of great music in the show this year, over 40 songs.
Oh, that's a lot
more than people are probably used to. So
that's a lot of singing for them Burning Hill Singers.
Absolutely, yeah. They keep pretty busy in their 2 hours. And we've had, great acts too, but for me, the music is what makes the show. Mm-hmm. And in particular, like I said, this new song, the winner of our songwriting contest, is excellent.
So who won it? Is it a North Dakota person or?
Andrea Stolpe is the winner, and she's actually grew up in Stillwater, Minnesota.
Okay.
But spent summers, like so many, vacationing around North Dakota, and had family in Montana, so they often spent time in the area on their way back and forth from Minnesota to Montana. So.
Okay, so what is the song then?
Title of the song is Always North Dakota, and it's, like I said, it's really catchy, not just about Medora, but about our entire state.
Is it a fast one, slow one?
It's fairly up-tempo.
Okay.
Mid, I would say, or
mid-tempo.
Mid-tempo, yeah.
Very cool. So now talk about the specialty acts, because, you still have a couple specialty acts coming up here for August. So What are the specialty acts that are going to be in?
Well, we're finishing up with Karen Ruth White now, and she's a very entertaining comedian, and we'll be receiving Rudy McCoggy soon. And Rudy has been on a number of the national talent shows, like America's Got Talent and others.
Oh, wow.
Physical comedian, real high energy, little guy, originally from Italy, but spent most of his life now entertaining in the U.S. So,
okay.
That's pretty exciting. And then we'll finish up the season with a new act for us. Well, actually, all 4 of our acts this season have been and will be new. But the final act of the season will be Aloft, and that's an aerial acrobat troupe.
Oh, wow.
Which is, like I say, a new act for us and a new type of act, really.
Yeah, I don't ever recall seeing an aerial acrobat group.
Exactly, it's tough.
So are they building like a trapeze on stage or something? Or?
Not a trapeze, but a huge tripod to support their act. And then they do other things on the stage as well, but... it's, like I say, a new type of act for us.
So how do you guys find these acts? Like, where do you find these people at?
It's really interesting because we certainly get a lot of references, recommendations, and one of the acts came that way for this season. Also, we've worked with agents for a number of years, which has been important because our show is family, and it's important to keep acts, particularly comedy acts, clean. Mm-hmm. And family friendly for our audience. So the agents come in handy there because they understand what the show's about, and they come out themselves and experience it.
Okay.
So they find some of the acts, and we search for other acts. And it's been interesting as technology has evolved, even especially in the last 5 years or so, with some of those national talent television shows.
Okay, I suppose.
As well as, you know, the internet, just social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier to communicate, you know. Like I say, referrals and things, recommendations on acts.
So, is there been like a favorite act that you guys have had and have come back year after year at all?
We have over the years. Many people who are, you know, recent attendees of the show probably remember seeing the Chinese Golden Dragon acrobats at one time or another. They've been very popular, as well as...
I remember them. They are incredible.
Yeah, unbelievable, actually. Even someone like myself being there year after year and seeing that act night after night, I still can't quite believe some of the things that they do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that, you know, those rank right up there. But one thing that's important to us, and I mentioned Harold felt was real important when the show was founded, was, you know, having a different show each year. So every act may not be our favorite, but each, you know, different people who attend the show are going to see it different ways.
Exactly. Everybody has their own things that they like.
Exactly, yeah. And like I said, for me, that acrobats are one that almost everybody is going to enjoy. Whereas some of the other styles, comedians, depends a little more on your taste. But like I said, our acts for the season have been well received, and we expect we'll end the year strong as well.
Now, how do you guys come up with the Burning Hill Singers? Because, I mean, every year you've got a great crew of singers, and, I mean, I remember working there, and they're a lot of fun, too. Mm-hmm. But how does that happen?
How does that come together? Well, our producer, Stage West Entertainment, looks across the country. There's a national audition convention a couple of times a year, once in the fall and again in the spring,
okay.
Where literally thousands of performers will audition in front of hundreds of producers and directors. So several of the Burning Hill Singers will be cast that way. Others, you know, return from the prior year. We also hold auditions in North Dakota because, you know, if there's local talent that wants to be in the show, we want them to be. That's important to us. So it's really a mix of kind of local as well as national auditions. And of course, many of the folks in the show return after a year, or sometimes
couple years,
do a different show one year and come back to us after a couple of years. So
that's like Bo Price.
Yep,
he's back this year.
Bo Price is back, both as choreographer of the show, which he's done since
he is an amazing dancer.
2006. Yeah, very high energy dancer and
yes,
committed to making sure that the dance in the show stays very tight and just as it was intended. So we're lucky to have Bo. He also has an incredible voice for some of our cowboy music, especially this year.
So who else is returning from last year?
Quite a solid core coming back from last year. Chet and Lexi Wallen, who've been in the show a number of years, brother and sister, are back, as well as Lexi's new husband, Jeremiah.
Oh.
Jeremiah grew up in Stanley, worked in Medora as a behind-the-scenes guy for a number of seasons, and now
Jeremiah.
is in his second year of being on stage in the show. So that's been fun, and he has a couple of great feature numbers that real fun to tap your feet along with.
Oh, very cool.
And number of others coming back, as you mentioned, Bo, Ken and Reed, who are both from the East Coast, one the Northeast and the other from Georgia, are back in the show this year, and also, you know, real solid voices there. So
now the host of the show again is
this season is Emily Walter.
Okay,
she portrays our host character, the Queen of the West. Emily actually has an interesting story too. She has done lots of things throughout her career so far.